Question 2. DS. If two numbers are selected randomly from the first 10 positive integers, is the sum of two numbers divisible by 6? Condition 1. The larger number selected is 5 times the smaller number selected. Condition 2. The two numbers selected are odd numbers. Solution. Now we will solve this DS question using the variable approach. Common mistake type 3, or CMT3. Condition 1 and condition 2 are independent. Let's look at CMT3. It is generally associated with key questions and talks of keeping conditions 1 and 2 independent of each other when looking at any of the two conditions separately. This is especially important when you are looking at answer A or B. So when you are looking at condition 2, do not carry the knowledge from condition 1 with you, and vice versa. Do not let any of the conditions interfere or influence your analysis of the other condition. Let's apply the 3 steps suggested previously. Follow the first step of the variable approach by modifying and rechecking the original condition and the question. We have to find out whether the sum of two numbers selected randomly from the first 10 positive integers is divisible by 6. Let's look at the information from the question prompt or the original condition. This is an integer question, and therefore one of the key questions. We need to pay attention to CMT 3 and 4 in key questions. Also, the answer to this question will be in terms of a yes or no, and therefore we apply CMT 1 to this question. CMT 1 tells us that even a no is a valid answer. Follow the second and third steps. From the original condition, we have two variables, two positive integers selected. To match the number of variables with the number of equations, we need two more equations. Since conditions 1 and 2 will provide one equation each, C would most likely be the answer. Recall 3 principles, choose C as the most likely answer. Let's look at both conditions together. Condition 1 tells us that the larger number selected is 5 times the smaller number selected, and condition 2 tells us that the two numbers selected are odd. Then only two numbers that satisfy both conditions are 1 and 5. Their sum is 6, which is divisible by 6, so we get yes. Since the answer is unique, the conditions combined are sufficient by CMT 1, which states that the answer will be in terms of a unique yes or no. So, the answer should be C. However, this is an integer question and an easy C as an answer, so we need to look for CMT 4A and 3. We have to look at the relationship between the VA and CMT 3 and 4 before finalizing our answer. So, let's apply CMT 4A, which states that if you get C as an answer too easily, then consider A and B. We'll also apply CMT 3, which is associated with key questions, and talks of keeping both condition 1 and 2 independent of each other. So we will have to consider each condition separately. Condition 1 tells us that the larger number selected is 5 times the smaller number selected. So, if we take one number as A, the other number will be 5 times A, and their sum will be A plus 5 times A equals 6 times A, which will always be divisible by 6. The possible pairs in the given range are 1 and 5 and 2 and 10, adding up to 6 and 12. In both cases, the sum, 6 or 12, is divisible by 6. So the unique answer is yes, and the condition is sufficient by CMT 1, which states that the answer will be in terms of a unique yes or no. Wow, this is a very difficult question. Your score will increase by 30 points if you get these questions right. Integer questions are often linked with CMT 3, and CMT3 or B. You should study hard to understand how to solve those questions. Condition 2 tells us that the two numbers selected are odd numbers. Now, we should include any information from condition 1 while analyzing this condition. If A and B is 1 and 5, the answer is yes, as 6 is divisible by 6. But if A and B is 1 and 3, the answer is no, as 4 is not divisible by 6. Here, we do not have a unique answer, as we get both a yes and a no, so the condition is not sufficient by CMT1, which states that if you are getting both yes and no from the same condition, the condition is not sufficient. Of course, there is a very important point here. You should never think about condition 1 when checking condition 2. They are independent conditions. That is the key point of CMT3. You should never bring AB equals 1 and 5 from condition 1 to condition 2. If the question has both C and A as its answer, then A is the answer rather than C, by the definition of DS questions. Again, this question is a 50 to 51 level question using the variable approach, and common mistake type 3 and 4A or B proves to be extremely useful. Condition 1 alone is sufficient, so A is the correct answer. Answer: A.